My only son, who's 20, has racked up about $15,000 in credit card debt. He has a decent job, but he spends way more than he earns. Stuff like designer clothes, eating out all the time, and weekend getaways. Now he's struggling to even make the minimum payments and has come to me asking for a loan to wipe out the debt. For context, I bailed him out before with smaller money problems. I've covered his rent when he couldn't pay, or I've handled unexpected car repairs for him. Every time he swears it'll be the last time and that he'll get his act together with budgeting, but that never happens. I love my son to death and want him to do well, but I'm scared that if I keep rescuing him, he'll never learn to handle his finances. Also, I'm not rich. Giving him $15,000 would mean pulling from my retirement savings, which I've been building for years to secure my future. I'm stuck. I hate the idea of him facing big consequences like wrecked credit or even bankruptcy, which could haunt him for a long time. But I also don't want him to keep overspending and relying on me to clean up the mess. I've tried talking to him about budgeting and planning, but he ignores me or makes excuses. Maybe I should have been tougher before, and that's why we're back here again. There's also this family thing. My parents always said you help your kids no matter what, and they bailed me out when I was younger. It makes me feel like I should step up for him too, but I'm starting to think that might just enable him more. So tell me, would I be the idiot if I said no to giving him money this time and let him face the fallout of his choices? Not the idiot, but has he ever paid you back? He's acting incredibly spoiled and immature by ignoring you or refusing to take responsibility for his massive overspending. He doesn't get to do that and still expects handouts from you. Tell him that the only way he's going to get even a single dollar more of support is to go through a forensic and adult exploration of his annual finances and apply a strict budget that he lives by. No. Just 2 months ago, he dented his car on a trip with friends and borrowed $650 from me to get it fixed. When I asked for the money some days later, he brushed it off, saying it's not about judgment because he gives me rides in his car. He's my son, and as his dad, I don't expect to get the money back when I give it to him. Still, I can't help feeling strange about it. It's frustrating that he acts like giving me rides once or twice in a month cancels out the debt. It's not the same thing. I'm thinking about talking to him, not demanding the money but letting him know how I feel and maybe setting some clearer expectations for the future. Also, I told him to sell some of his crap gears and watches. He can get $9,000 to $10,000 for them. Then I'll manage the rest. He said I don't care about his emotions about these items. You are thinking about talking to him and maybe setting expectations? Dude, man up. My 21-year-old daughter got a full-time job during her gap semester, planned, and we decreased her allowance by 50% for housing. She said she felt like she was being punished for working. We told her, "Welcome to adulting. Welcome to our world." Wow, just wow. Even my children pay me back. Opie's child is acting entitled to dad coming to his rescue. You can't keep bailing him out. Also, he should drive a dented car if he has no money to fix it. Opie got to let the kid take responsibility for his actions. From what it seems, he's gotten so used to it that he's just taking the help for granted at this point. Yeah, he won't learn crap. Be prepared for him to discard you once you stop being his bankroll. I've seen it from my friends and I've personally experienced it when I stopped bailing out my parents. It's incredibly painful, but it also brings about a lot of personal growth on your side when you realize what true love and respect is. It doesn't have a dollar sign attached to it. Just be prepared for him to get really, really bad with you. Your son has issues. If you bail him out now, you will for the rest of your life. My wife and I, both 31, have been married for 8 years and we have 2 kids, a toddler and younger, together. We've always discussed that the size of our family would depend on how we felt while we were having kids, but we both wanted more than one. After the birth of our second child, I realized I was done, and I told my wife 2 was it for me. She said that was okay with her, but that has changed and it's now causing problems. 6 or so months ago, my wife told me she wanted at least one more child, and I told her I understood, but I didn't and couldn't do another kid. She asked me what she could do to change my mind. She said we would do daycare 5 days a week regardless of whether we work. She suggested using our families to babysit more often so we'd have more time off. She suggested that she return to her old job so we'd have more money, a job that she hated and was glad to leave, and she swore she would never return to it, one she vented about on a regular basis. While I believe she would do it, I don't think that would help us out long term because she'd just be extra stressed. At one point, she even suggested I didn't need to be all in for more than the 2 we have, and she'd understand if I was less hands-on with the next baby and child. That horrified me because when she talked about it, She said she'd understand that the third child would be the one she wanted and not me, and she'd take responsibility for that. I can't imagine having a child and treating them differently. Even suggesting that it would be okay shocked me, and I told my wife about it. My reasons for feeling done are different, but they complete my feelings. My wife has already experienced 2 very difficult pregnancies, and when she was pregnant with our younger child, I found it incredibly stressful to juggle everything, especially when she was hospitalized. The balancing act between being there for our child, who missed their mom like crazy and cried for her, and my wife, who needed cheering up, encouragement and support, and working full-time while also taking care of the kids. Not to mention, during that time, her sister and I had a major disagreement because I didn't step up and babysit for her on 3 different occasions while my wife was in the hospital, and I was already balancing a lot. That's a disagreement we have not recovered from either. Her sister and I are civil, but not friendly like we used to be. Another reason is the money. We spend a large amount on childcare already without adding another. Then I think of the future and how I want to keep saving for them. One of our kids has some medical issues, and while it's nothing life-threatening, medications are required, and that costs money. I want to be able to put them in activities they enjoy. So overall, financially, I feel more comfortable with us having 2. The other part is time. We're already busy, and I want to spend time with my wife and kids, both one-on-one time and family time. Some weeks we don't get as much as I'd like, and it's a lot of work parenting small kids. I don't feel like I have the mental energy to add another to the mix. Even thinking about it makes me feel exhausted. I enjoy the family we have now. It's never too much, but I feel like for me it would be. Ignoring one of my kids would not be an option for me. I've explained all of this to my wife, and she still believes we can figure out something that can make us both happy or work for us both. Prior to 6 months ago, we discussed my getting a vasectomy, and I even booked a consultation to discuss it. My wife told me she wanted me to put it on hold when this discussion came up. And now we've reached a point where my wife has admitted to me that while she doesn't want a divorce, she resents my refusal to give in and will resent me if I don't have more children with her, at least one more. She told me she won't be able to help it because she feels this burning desire for more kids. She told me I won't even try her compromises. I told her it was too late to compromise when a child was already here. I told her we can't take a 3rd child back, and I can't be a dad who messes their kids up by ignoring one or more. So I told my wife she needed to decide once and for all, accept having 2 kids and work through any resentment so we can try to stay married, or end our marriage and she can find someone else to have a 3rd child with. I told her I was firmly done. My wife told me it's not fair to give her an ultimatum like this. Maybe she's right, but she wants to deal with this between us and nobody else, and for 6 months we've made no progress. She's just growing to resent me more every day because I won't give her a 3rd child. Am I the idiot? Edit, just to clarify a point, my wife has a job. She's always had a job. The offer to go back to her old job is her old employer, where she was miserable. She likes where she works now, but they don't pay as much. Not the idiot. OP, I hate to say this, but several couples I'm friends with had this same argument with their wives wanting more children. They mutually decided to stop at the family they have, then a few months later, there was an accident. Your arguments are practical and reasonable. Hers are based on emotion. The vasectomy sounds like the only foolproof way you can shut this down. What I don't get is that she wants the 3rd kid, but then says you can put them in daycare 5 days a week and ask the family to babysit more so the 2 of you can have more dates. So what's the point of the 3rd one if it doesn't even sound like she wants to care for them? Because she wants a baby, or maybe she misses the attention being pregnant got her. OP, she wants another baby. She told you so herself without using these actual words. She wants to put the children you already have in daycare. She's willing to go back to a job she hates in order to pay for this. This is a lie, but she's never going back to that job. She wants to get family members to take care of your children more often so that you can have more time together. Your wife will not stop at 3 children if you give in. She will want another baby when the 3rd one gets to the toddler stage. Then another, then another. Spot on. I have a friend whose wife wanted a 2nd child, but our son needs a sibling. After 2nd son, his wife wanted a 3rd, but he was done. She started cheating and they eventually divorced. She got pregnant with a 3rd child and my friend got full custody of his 2 boys. She didn't want the actual responsibility of children, she wanted babies. Pregnant again, had twins, and last I heard is pregnant with the 6th. This marriage is over. My husband, 36, and I, 34 female, have been married for 6 years. He's always struggled with his weight, but in the past year he's gained more and it started affecting his health. He's frustrated and has been blaming me for it, saying I enable him by cooking unhealthy meals. Here's the thing. I cook homemade meals almost every night. I try to balance proteins, veggies and carbs, but he always adds extra portions and snacks late at night and eats fast food when I'm not around. I don't control what he eats at work or when he goes out. Last week he stepped on the scale and got really upset. He turned to me and said, "This is because of you. You keep making food I can't resist." That really hurt. I told him I'm not the reason he's overweight. He controls what he eats. He got angry and said I wasn't being supportive. Since then he's been giving me the cold shoulder, and even his mom texted me saying I should help him instead of shaming him. But I never shamed him. I just refused to take the blame for something over which he had control. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. He needs to take responsibility for his lack of control, and you need to put your foot down. Stop cooking for him. Next time his mother calls, tell her to stay out of your affairs and hang up. This would be my response. If he's accusing you of making food he can't resist, then I would, at least temporarily, stop cooking. Tell him you want to enable his weight loss, so from now on he can buy groceries and make foods better suited to his dietary needs. Mommy's boys are the worst. They make terrible husbands. Better start making boiled chicken and broccoli for him every night to support him. Once again, this screams no accountability. Next thing you know, you will only be making meals for his health. Then he'll go out and eat fast food and blame it on you because you didn't cook him food that tastes good. As long as he's not to blame for not wanting discipline and working out in his life, right? Girl, he's straight up blaming you for his own choices. I, 23 female, have been married to my husband Alex, 27, for 2 years, and we have an infant son, Dylan. Alex has a friend named Mike, 27 male. They've been best friends since high school. From my first encounter, I did not like Mike. He's really childish, likes to be the centre of attention, and has a crude sense of humour. It's like he never got out of his frat boy phase. All of my husband's friends are married or in long-term relationships, whereas Mike has never been in a long-term relationship or has brought any woman around. He's also made some weird comments toward me that made me uncomfortable. My husband has a deep bond with Mike and they often go on hunting trips or have boys' nights. I've never tried to keep my husband from hanging out with his friend, but I have limited my contact with Mike as much as possible since we've been together. Mike came over to pick up my husband to go golfing. I was holding our baby when I answered the door. Mike greeted us at the door, asked to hold my baby, and cooed at him. Then he said, "Hey there, man, come to Papa." My husband and Mike started laughing. A bit of background, I have brown hair and blue eyes, and my husband has black hair and brown eyes. Our son's hair is coming into blonde and he has blue eyes. Mike has blonde hair and blue eyes. I was a bit caught off guard by it, but ignored his comment. Mike then said, "He looks like me, maybe he's mine," and my husband and Mike continued to laugh. I was not amused. I told Mike to hand me my son and then told him, "Not in a million years, and no woman with sense would want you." Neither my husband nor Mike laughed at my comment, and Mike just made a face before he and my husband left. Later, my husband told me I took it too far with Mike and that Mike was just joking, but I made it personal. I told him those comments were disrespectful to me as his wife and the mother of this child. He then said it's obviously not true, so why am I so upset when I know how Mike is? Edit, when we got engaged, literally the first thing Mike said was, "Darn it, Alex beat me to it. I had the ring and everything." Literally the first thing, not congratulations. He'd said other weird things as well. Not the idiot. Like most frat boy, I was just kidding types. He can dish it out but can't take it. You weren't the one who made it personal. Tell your husband that you find any man implying you'd have intimacy with him is personal to you. Ask your husband why Mike's comfort is more important than yours, and why Mike was just making a joke and you were attacking. Mike says, "Maybe we screwed." You say, "Not on your life." Neither sounds like a joke, but Mike seems like a frat guy with no future. It sounds like you have a husband problem. Obviously, Mike complained about his hurt feelings when they left. This should have been the time when your husband told Mike he took it too far. No wonder Mike's single. Are we sure that Mike doesn't have a thing for you? That is a very weird thing to say. I wonder if there was some truth to that and he can't help himself from trying to nudge himself between you and your hubby. Think about his comments in the past. If he didn't like you, they'd be derogatory, But in both cases you mentioned, they were about being with you. If it's not that, then maybe it's jealousy. Weird things to say in front of your husband, much less you. Do you think Mike may have a thing for your husband? You said he never brought a woman and they often go somewhere together, and even with a papa, does he want to be a stepdad via your husband? I know it's a bit far-fetched, but who knows?